Hello, everyone. Pastor Nathan here from Grace Lutheran Church. I'm actually not at Grace Lutheran Church right now, in the physical building that is, but I'm at home working from my home office. You see a closet on this side and a bedroom door on this side, which is closed now, but it might not stay that way. As many of you know, I have three youngish kids that like to barge in and do goofy stuff without any respect to boundaries whatsoever. But anyways, I've been working from home quite a bit as we're still in this pandemic. We're all social distancing, and because of that, we can't worship in the building for some time. So we continue doing online stuff. And as I was thinking about this and how I understand an hour long worship service can be kind of difficult to sit through the whole thing and watch. And I can see when people are leaving, by the way. And I notice that people do leave after the sermon. It's like the content that a majority of the people are most interested in. So I thought it'd be good to have these shorter video clips that that'll be easier to digest, as I said, as easier to digest than the hour-long worship services. And these short video clips would be focused on the semi-continuous track of the Revised Common Lectionary. And I know those are very big, churchy-sounding words that you may or may not be familiar with, even though I've used them several times in the past. I don't presume to think that you all remember everything that I say. In fact, I'm quite certain you don't. So I'll break it all down for you. The Revised Common Lectionary basically is the schedule in which we follow that takes us through the church seasons. As I explained a couple weeks ago in a sermon, the church year is divided up in seasons, much like how the calendar year is divided up in seasons. And each season has a reason for it, a flow, and it builds onto the next. And so there's it's a cycle, exactly what it's called, a revised lectionary cycle. And the schedule of readings helps us through those seasons, the themes, the underlying tones for those seasons, and it just helps us to focus our minds and learn about what's going on and how to relate that to our everyday lives. And the Revised Common Lectionary has 3 years, A, B, and C, which are very, by the way, creatively named. And each year focuses on one of the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, or Luke. Those three are called Synoptics because they're very similar to each other. If you were to read them side by side, you will see that they have a lot of the same stories, a lot of the same words even, just that they're so similar they group them together, called them Synoptics. John isn't left out. The Gospel of John is not left out of the lectionary, mind you, but it is very different in that it's more, John is much more philosophical in nature, and so they pepper John in here and there where it fits, like Christmas, Easter, and some other of the festivals and different places, and especially in year B, which is the year of Mark, because the Gospel of Mark, if you know, is very, very short, and if we were just to focus on Mark throughout a lectionary year, we'd run out of Mark really, really fast. So they've had a lot of John in there as well. And so that is, and in the lectionary schedule, we will have the 4 readings, as you know. Like the gospel is the main focus, as is about the life of Jesus and all that kind of stuff. We have the first reading, which is most usually out of the Old Testament, sometimes from the New, depending on the theme, depending on the day. But most usually out of the Old Testament. There's a psalm, which is most usually a psalm, but it actually isn't always. There are times when there is another psalm-type song in another part of the Bible that they want to use for the psalm being kind of the musical, worshipful response to that first reading. And preparing us for the second reading, which is, I think, always from the New Testament. I can't think of a time when it isn't from the New Testament, so I'm going to say with a great deal of certainty that it is always from the New Testament. And then the Gospel, of course, which I know 100% is always a Gospel, and that's a fact. So that's the Revised Common Lectionary, and there's just the theme that it brings us through. But in the summer months, it changes things a little bit. It goes into 2 tracks: the complementary, the thematic, as they're called both ways here and there, And that's what we normally follow at Grace. We normally follow the theme that follows the gospel reading. The semi-continuous is a little bit different in that the Old Testament, the first reading, and the Psalm, although they do follow the theme, they are more focused on the story of the Old Testament. So they go along the history of Israel, the struggles that they faced, and all that kind of stuff that brought them to the place where they needed that Messiah, and that we see how Jesus came, the environment in which Jesus was born into, and all that kind of stuff. And so we don't get that often, especially at Grace, unless there's a Bible study or something, which no one really shows up anyways. So I thought it'd be good to have this kind of video series throughout the summer months to talk about the semi-continuous, which we won't do on Sundays. On Sundays, we'll be following the complementary, and we will have these midweek sometime when I'm able to make a video on the semi-continuous readings for that particular week. The semi-continuous track actually started a couple weeks ago, and so we're not really at the very beginning of the story. We're kind of just after the opening credits and stuff, but it's still a pretty complete story, and we're starting this week at, I think, an okay place. It's a little bit different, so feel free to read ahead and all that kind of stuff, but stay tuned, and we'll have the video out sometime shortly, hopefully before too long, before the week is up, and hopefully this series will be something that is helpful for you, just to get a fuller picture, something just to have in these summer months, that again is a little bit easier to digest than the full worship service. And I'm open to comments if you like them or not. I'll see in the views anyway, and so if we'll see how it goes. Thank you for making it this far in this video, and I hope to see you in the other ones. Peace.